Hello. I'm gonna get this started here. Hey, P. I miss him?
Yeah, I've got my audio set up a little bit differently to usual because people were complaining in the Discord the other day that I was too quiet. Hopefully I'm not too loud or too distorted.
I can hear you just fine. Not sure about others.
Dude.
I can hear it, but it's quiet.
Any closer to this microphone and I'm kissing it.
Okay, so let's see. We have 6 staff here. We need 8 for quorum, technically. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer here.
How many absentee ballots have we got?
Well, I have one for Skelly, but Skelly's here. Skelly, I think you might have to leave later. But I have a feeling the meeting might not last that long. And 7D sent in one very last minute, and all it says is, well, for one topic he said yes, and all the rest he said meh. So.
Topic Zero Alpha opening AIX. I vote against because the signage on the people mover isn't great.
Mm-hmm. How do you know? Okay, that's 7.
My game is still loading. I think it's one of the 50. I think it's because I have 50 mods.
Why do you have 50?
You may never know.
Okay. Needing to get up here somehow. There you go. Okay, we've got 8, so I think we can get this meeting started. This is a pretty low-key short one for the most part. There's no pre-reviews, no conductor apps, no moderator apps. Yeah, so welcome to the December 2024 GSM, the last GSM of this year. We're just gonna go through some community issues mainly. I was gonna move up the Quebec Boucheron speech up to the beginning of the meeting if possible, but I don't think Quebec is here, and also he hasn't sent me a speech. So I think we might just have to skip it. I'll probably poke him to send that premier speech later on. Okay, so let's go straight into... Oh, could I get someone to write the minutes, please, before we begin here? Vicky is not here.
Sure.
I don't mind. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, AP, you can take it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Minutes up.
Okay, cool. So first one is 5A, defining the caretaker role for premier cities. This is deferred from the last GSM because we couldn't really figure out exactly what we want to do with it. I did read the Discord thread on this one, and Alpha did post a suggestion to basically merge the role of deputy mayor and caretaker to make things a lot simpler. I'm not sure what people think about that.
I mean, I think I was quite in favour of that personally. I think it simplifies it. I think the only issue with it right now is that, like, we have to deal with the current cities which have both a caretaker and a deputy mayor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think given that inactive asset transfers aren't possible for premier cities anyway, I think it makes sense to just replace it with the caretaker role.
Okay.
I'm in agreement there of just merge the roles.
Okay, so I will just know what Alpha's... Oh, Alpha's here. I'll just know what Alpha said regarding that topic. For Operi and Utopia, those have caretakers that are assigned that are different from the currently assigned deputy mayors. He did suggest that, one, we could just reach out to those mayors, even though they've left the server in not so good terms, and then ask them if they want to change it, or we could just forcibly change it now. I don't know whatever's easier or more straightforward. Which way do you want to tackle this?
Of the opinion that we should just go with the caretaker in the case of conflicts. Because the caretaker has probably been assigned more recently, and maybe with stronger, I don't want to say conviction, but
That is true.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is, like the, what's I gonna say? Pretty much that, I think it would be good to just put the caretaker, like has been said before, like it's the more recent one, and like in most cases also the more active one. And also, if there's any issues with that, like the mayor could, like, I haven't checked, but I don't think either of them is banned, so they could just like, tell them like, hey, actually I don't want it, and like they can just change it with staff. So I don't think that's a big issue.
Okay. That's fair enough. So it's starting to sound like, unless people have any different opinions, Skelly, I know you sent me an absentee ballot. I'm not sure if you agree with that or not, but it sounds like we were just going to replace the deputy mayor of those premier cities with the caretaker, and just call it a day there.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. I will just also quickly put in a bit of an oil in the oil. I don't know. What should we do around the cases of a caretaker or deputy mayor not wishing to be the caretaker deputy mayor?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Say Central City as the example. Central City, we have somehow that's Premier, and the caretaker is DNA. Who DNA does not wish to be the caretaker of CC. What do we do?
Oh, I see what you're saying, AP, actually, yeah.
Well, first question: has that ever happened before? I'm trying to think of a real life example of where that's happened, but I don't recall one. Like recently or in the history of the server.
But I think it would probably only be maybe a slight issue for the current players who are deputy mayors, because I think anyone who's the deputy mayor of a premier city when it's promoted is going to know that they are now taking on the position of caretaker effectively. But I guess it's more problematic. I don't really know how many of the current deputy mayors are actually active and caretakers as well. So,
So I'm a little confused. Like, what are you suggesting here, AP?
Right. I don't believe we actually have any sort of formal process for, well, in either case, for a caretaker to relinquish that caretakership unless the mayor changes it themselves. And same goes for deputy mayors.
I see. I don't know. Do we want to tackle this? Do we want to tackle this topic right now? I'm like, it sounds like a more general thing. Well,
sorry, what?
I don't know. Like this meeting, we could just try to make this meeting as short as possible. I'm trying to keep this focus on the topic we're talking about right now.
I guess we could add it to the January GSM, but I don't know if it's better to get it out of the way now when it's a shorter GSM.
But what AP is suggesting sounds like talking about deputy mayors in general, not just the premier rank. Where in this topic we are specifically just talking about the premier rank, or specifically, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Specifically, more specifically, any cities that have a caretaker assigned to them, which includes Robin's governor rank cities. But it's mainly premier and governor we're talking about, like those cities specifically.
I was going to say, kind of in relation to what AP is saying, are we going to inform the current deputy mayors that they're now effectively caretakers as well, or some of them are inactive?
We could. Let's be very specific here because I think we're getting a little confused here. What is being suggested here is all those cities that have a caretaker assigned, that would be Alparia, Utopia, Lakeview, Marblegate. Those who are assigned as caretakers, they're going to become the deputy mayor. Is that clear? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as DNA said, do we want to inform that the caretaker, who is now deputy mayor, that's being changed?
Yes, I mean we can make an announcement. I mean we'll be making the announcement, and the number of players who would be affected very, very small at this point.
So just to get this clear, like the caretaker would still assume the same task as caretaker, just under the name of like deputy mayor. So in that case, except for the name, nothing changes, which we'll announce in like the meeting notes. And I guess the old deputy mayor will be like without a job. So which one do you want us to possibly reach out for? And
I think it would be more, as you said, the caretaker is the more recent reassigned person, so it's probably more relevant for them, since they would be basically gaining control of the city, effectively.
so just as a heads up, what did the DM do in Premier City up until, I guess, now?
So, deputy mayor is meant to be, in case the person goes inactive, as you know, for most of the ranks. But because of how premier works, it doesn't really. Their role kind of changes. They can't do a deputy mayor succession anymore if it's a premier city. So they can't just take ownership. So but if we just merge the caretaker role with deputy mayor, then their role is a bit more defined now. They are the person who can basically take care of the city.
Yeah, I agree. But just clarifying, so the people that are like deputy mayor before like the I forgot the term, the maintainers, take over the deputy mayor, like the current deputy mayors of premier cities, they have nothing like formally in the rules that they can do, right?
In the current rules, they effectively don't. Yeah, they can't really do anything.
So pretty much that just disappears, and we replace the caretakers. We put the caretakers in the we give them the name of deputy, but they keep what they do as a role.
But think of it this way: the role of deputy mayors for premier cities is being enhanced. Instead of doing not being able to do really much anything at all, they are now basically the caretaker of that city. The assignment of the caretaker to deputy mayor only applies to those 4 cities because the caretaker was explicitly assigned as a separate role.
Okay, so like deputy mayors from now on, like when they are like deputy mayor at like governor, when it goes to premier, like automatically the deputy mayor gets all the stuff that deputy mayors.
The privileges of being a caretaker, when it gets to premier. Yep.
Okay, yes.
I'm trying to read what PTLD's asking here.
ETLD wants it to be the 2 situations of Pyre and Utopia to be grandfathered so that they still keep the deputy mayors, but any caretakers in the future have to be deputy mayors.
The problem with that, go ahead, AP.
I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
The problem with that, the whole reason we're doing this is to simplify, to not have to keep track of the caretaker. I don't know. It's kind of this weird edge case that, because caretaker wasn't really actually something in our rules, it was just something people did for their mainly premier cities. We just want to as Alpha said in his statement, like he wanted to merge these roles together so it's a little simpler for us to deal with. But are you saying we should contact the existing DMs and as well as the caretakers? Do you want to contact both?
I suppose we're giving extra privileges now to all the deputy mayors of current premier cities.
Effectively, yeah.
So and also how, for the deputy mayors who are inactive, I guess we just reinstate a new deputy mayor now instead of assigning a caretaker.
Sorry, what was that?
If they're inactive. So if the current deputy mayor is inactive, are we just going to forcefully change the deputy mayors now instead of assigning a caretaker?
Why would you do that?
Well, because if the whole point, the reason we assign caretakers so that it makes it easier for people to build transport projects, stuff like that, into the city, and they maintain the city.
Yeah.
But a lot of the current deputy mayors are inactive. So I guess would there be a situation where we change the deputy mayor to an active player if we needed to?
So I believe this was. Go ahead, AP.
Perhaps again move around a little bit. We say for premier cities, somebody can apply to be the DM. similar to how cities governor below can be IAT'd. That way, somebody can become the caretaker, but again, there's still the understanding of hold the intent of the previous builder. Because, they achieve the premiere on it, for God's sake. And they can still get it back if needs be.
I think we're complicating that situation. I'm going to have to go with what PTLD said. Like, the whole point of a deputy mayor or caretaker is it's assigned by the original mayor. Like, it's someone that they trust to take care of their city if they are gone, or they get banned or whatever.
But if that player gets banned, if the deputy mayor becomes inactive or gets banned or whatever else,
then there is no recourse except that when staff can assign a caretaker, or I guess a deputy mayor, there. But that has not happened ever in the history of the server, if I recall. I don't recall a case when that has happened. I get what people are saying. Like, there are situations where a premier city will just not have anybody to take care of it because both the mayor and deputy mayor / caretaker is inactive. If you want staff, if there is a case where staff should override that, we can consider that. But so far, it hasn't happened.
I've just realised we didn't have the transcriber bot on. I've just activated that.
Okay.
Sorry, Frozen.
I don't think Frozen's here anyway.
So PTLC's requested to speak. I don't know if that was intentional.
PTLD, do you want to say something?
Thank you. I see no issue with grandfathering the existing outliers of Utopia and Oparia, given that DMs are chosen by the mayor, same with the caretaker, and that there hasn't been a conflict in the past, and I don't see conflicts in the future, and if those can be dealt with by staff. And then also, I feel like we shouldn't be assigning caretakers for cities that don't have one, because unless it's absolutely needed. It should be a situation like that where we're assigning a caretaker or a DM should be the extreme exception and not the rule. We shouldn't just be assigning them just so every premier city has one.
Let me just clarify here. Is that something that we were suggesting here, DNA or others? I'm asking that. No, I'm asking them, not you, PTLD.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, was that the intention here, or like what exactly was that? Like,
I mean, I was more just wondering what. Obviously, we've assigned caretakers previously to some cities, as far as I'm aware. That's correct, isn't it?
No, actually. Which cities specifically?
Well, just some of the inactive ones. If that's not what we did.
No. Which?
What did we do with Oparia?
Sorry, what?
What did we do with Oparia?
Oparia. I believe if I recall correctly, that caretaker was assigned by Kyle when he left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's no problem then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think PTLD. I think you might have gotten the impression that, like,
yeah,
like, and to be fair, I got confused there. But we're not considering making that assigning caretakers. It'll still be the exception, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I was just getting that impression with how the conversation was flowing.
Okay.
About Atticus, because there was mention of inactive DMs and how we should assign. What if the DM is active, should be assigned a caretaker?
Or in this case, assign a new DM, to be specific.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Does that? Yep. So just to make it clear to all the other steps, does that make, and other people too? Does that make sense? Like, we are not changing when it comes to all the deputy mayors that are signed to premier cities, for example, except for those 4 exceptions. We're not planning on changing that at this moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
in the future, I can imagine in the future we might come across a situation when we do have to assign a deputy mayor because, I don't know, somebody really wants to IAB through it or build something through it or something like that. What do you guys foresee? What would happen in that situation? Is that simply a proposal? Is that a community, like a GSM topic? I don't know.
We just handle it case by case at all.
Okay, like we're just
If
gonna.
someone can submit a proposal, then if we decide that we need
I think
to
a proposal-
change the deputy mayor, then we can, I don't know, just see how much they want to change, I suppose.
Okay. Like,
If it's not uncommon, you know.
I'm just asking this because I have it hasn't happened yet, but I have a feeling it will happen eventually at some point. So just preparing, letting you guys know, just be prepared that we might see that at some point. Considering how many premier cities we have, it's not surprising that it would pop up at some point. Okay, so let's try to go back on the topic here. I think the one last question we have to decide is what to do with IAMs and IABs through existing premier cities, whether to allow them or not. Some opinions I've seen seem to indicate that both could be allowed. Skelly, I noticed that you had a slightly different opinion in your absentee ballot. Oh, Skelly here. Foot is saying, in my opinion, is to prevent them unless there's no other reasonable route. And Skelly says, my opinion was no IAMs because I think premier cities should be preserved even if something in it breaks. What do people think about that?
I disagree there. Sorry, Skelly. We have everything will break eventually, redstone wise, and I think it would be more, at least in the server's best interest, and well, the town's best interest as well, to have the ability to fix things when they break, when they go wrong. Yeah, like Alpha's just pointed out, if we can't use, if anything in a Premier City is just broken and that cannot be fixed, that's exactly what we introduced IAMs for. Maybe not specifically for Premiers, but that was one of, I believe that was one of the kind of connotations, one of the implications.
Scully, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my interpretation of what your argument is just to not touch anything in the premier city. Is that correct? Like, generally, yes. Okay.
I mean, I think the other thing as well is that like when staff evaluates the proposals, like we can take into account the fact that it is a premier city that's being changed.
Scully says, I'm thinking how you probably wouldn't be touching Ariza, though Ariza is a different case anyway since it's on the old world.
Maybe not generally, but we have the IAMs which have that staff oversight, so that we can kind of step in and go, this is beyond a simple maintenance change.
Does anyone share Skelly's opinion or has a different opinion? I'm just trying to get a sense of which direction we should go on this question.
think I'm generally in agreement with what AP said.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I don't think we'd need IAMs for Premier Cities that much if the caretaker is active, but that's that's a small thing, really.
That you'd only need IMBs if the caretaker, as we just discussed, if both the mayor and or deputy mayor are inactive. So
Yeah, and also like, please note for everyone, like IAMs don't allow you to do pretty much anything with the city. Like it's like IAMs are pretty strict with like what is allowed, and we went over that in the last one. So
yeah, I think that's Neenan. PTLD Neenan is addressing your comment there. Yeah, IAMs are supposed to be very specific. It's not meant to be like upgrade the entire metro system. Like that's a bit out of scope of what IAM is supposed to be. To be fair, we haven't had an IAM yet, so no one's proposing it. We don't know how it's going to work, even for non-premier cities.
There was talk of an IAM to do with raising a canal bridge. I believe Katie put that through. No, I was thinking of putting that through, but that's by the by.
Okay.
Because that was exactly the sort of thing where an IAM might have been applicable.
Okay. I'm going to suggest this then as our decision. I think we're going to allow IAMs and IABs for premier cities for now. If there is an issue later on where, let's say an IAM is not is objected to, or maybe doesn't fit a premier city, then we can revisit this.
Yeah.
So I've got for the resolution of this, current caretakers to take on the deputy mayor role. Sorry, current deputy mayors to take on the caretaker role at premier promotion. The old deputy mayors to be replaced with the caretaker where they differ, and allow IAMs and IABs for premier cities for now.
A better wording, I would say, just make it clear: the current deputy mayors of premier cities, except for those exceptions, take on caretaker privileges. So they have the privileges that are associated with a caretaker, such as keeping things maintained and all that sort of stuff.
And I can imagine really well that if there comes an IAB request for a town for a premier city where the DM is active, that will generally, or in pretty much every case, just be denied because there's someone who can take that.
The player should be talking with the deputy mayor instead. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Again, IABs and IAMs would only apply if both the mayor and deputy mayor are not active. They're not contactable. So, AP, did you write anything about what do we do with those exceptions? Are we contacting the deputy mayors and or the currently assigned caretakers?
I think contact both to have contact both, and if possible the mayor, but we'll if contact us everyone if possible, to say the caretaker will become the deputy mayor, and generally not have, obviously, say Katie declines to be the caretaker of Oparia and Utopia, then we leave it as is.
Can I ask, considering that at least for some of the mayors that we do not believe on best terms, can I ask some other staff members to handle the contacting, if possible? Because I don't think it'd be a good idea if I did it in some of those cases.
I don't mind reaching out if we want that.
Okay. Thanks, Dina. What was that? Oh, okay. Well, also I don't want to contact some PTLD, so that's It's just not just them; it's me too. So yeah,
Oparia, Utopia, those, what the other one?
it'd be Marblegate and Lakeview. Those are both owned by Robin. Oh,
Yeah,
Robin's very
Lakeview, I'm both the deputy mayor and caretaker of, so...
So just assign, just yeah.
So no action needed on Lakeview.
Okay. Cool. I think that covers this topic, unless there's any other questions or things we missed. Okay. Not hearing anything. Let's move on from this topic.
Hang on, Marblegate.
Yeah,
Are we
Marblegate.
applying the same thing? Where DM's currently Baron Timsbank, the caretaker Cortese.
So Cortese would be the deputy mayor now, because
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, hold on. Am I reaching out to all of the mayors of the Premier cities, or just the ones with caretakers?
it sounds like you're contacting all three, maybe, because it'd be the mayor would want to know, the deputy mayor would want to know, and the caretaker would want to know. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's all right.
yeah, I think it's fair to just contact them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Marblegate's got the slight complication of having two caretakers, one for the airport and one for the town itself. But
That's Do we want? How do we want to deal with that one? I didn't realize the airport was a different caretaker.
Honestly, just let it be. Why not?
you just have somehow be put in the notes for on the notes for Marblegate of just in case the airport is run by rocket science.
Is Rocket is also inactive? Okay, sure. Okay, that's fine. We can have that one little exception there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we just need to have a list of airports and who the main person is responsible for them, because usually they're linked to a town, but not always. Case in point, IAX.
Yeah.
Can we transfer the airport to rocket science? Just like an IAT, just so we have it in Star News.
Technically, I don't know how that happened, but technically, an airport, most airports, not AIX, but usually the airport is part of the town, so it would be to get, because it's part of also how you rank up to that town, right? But to have a separate ownership is weird, and I'm not sure if it's something I would encourage in those cases. For things like AIX GAP, where it's like a shared airport or it might be run by an organization, that's fine. But for these ones, I'm like, Okay, are we good here? Does it sound good? We're going to go ahead with this.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Alright, let's move on to 5B. Not sure what we're going to discuss here, I guess. This, just for the members and the community in general, like this document is basically an outline of what the staff are going to be focusing on for the next year. We actually have some private documents that we've had each year, but this year I decided, since some of them are relevant to the community, I decided to make this one public. It's separated into 4 broad categories. We got Minecraft and plugin updates, which are still ongoing. If you're following beta server, you'd probably know what's going on there. There's a Central City revamp, which basically we'd like to encourage people to. We basically want to encourage the acceleration of redoing large parts of Central City. I know Fred's been already doing the Belt Line and is building the new terminal. I would like to see more projects along those lines. So if you have suggestions for that, or want to help out with the projects that have been proposed already, please do. And the other topics, staff documents is mostly a staff thing. We're just redoing some of the documents to be a little more easier on us and give more information for you guys. And there's also a bunch of other products as well. So I guess for this topic, staff, you want to discuss any of these, or any members here, if you have any questions about any of the projects in this document, now's the time to ask. Are there any questions? I guess that's a better question. Okay, I was kind of expecting more questions about this because there's a lot of things in there. JD asked, would this Central City revamp involve removing existing builds? Yes. There are going to... for people who weren't here years ago, there have been a lot of several proposals before where people wanted to redo or revamp Central City, but those didn't pass because, or were not supported because there was, people who wanted to keep Central City the way it was. I don't agree with that, and didn't agree with that. I don't agree with that now. I think we need to be at least a bit more open to removing inactive builds or builds that don't really fit Central City, to at least make the city less stale and a little bit more impressive, especially to guests, I would say. So Central City feels stagnant, and I think there have been some projects like the Flag Park and the Big Board Center that have helped a little bit of there, but I want to have more of those projects, especially closer to Central City itself. Bobby's asking, does CC revamp include a Central Park? No, because that Central Park's pretty new. Yoshi put that in just a couple of years ago. I think it's way too early to consider a new park right now.
Yeah, like Central Park does its job of being a nice spawn area. And, and obviously the the sight line kind of veers you towards the Admiral building. It serves its purpose very well.
Yeah, it is a big improvement over the old park, which was honestly a pathfinding nightmare. I was actually very worried that guests were actually getting lost by, like, when they spawn in for the first time, they get lost and they leave the server. So I think the current spawn is a lot more accommodating for guests so at least know where to go, or at least, if they want the airport, they know where to go. If they want to see some, cities or something, they know where to go. Any other questions? I mean, the one thing I will point out is the member list that's on that doc. There's an ongoing project. MPolo's helped, or at least initiate a lot of that. The plan, just so people know, the plan is we reorganized some of the columns, but our plan is to add new columns that state when a player got certain ranks. So there'll be a citizen column, a trustee column, and inside that there'll be a date of when they reached that rank. Because the reason for this is I get a lot of questions about people asking, oh, when did I get citizen, or when did I get senator? And to have that all in the document would be a lot easier rather than me trying to look up server logs, or other people trying to look it up on the wiki. So
all the data we can get from, at least assuming it's been recorded properly on the news document.
Yeah. So yeah,
that isn't necessarily.
Yeah. So it's kind of like two parts. I have to add the columns in to make sure, and then make sure everything doesn't break. The second part is the whole research part. We're just filling in all that data, and that's probably the big brunt of the work, I would say.
Whilst I'm not sure if it's actually on the document, but some form of automation in promoting a player, rather than manually changing the column and adding in the data some form or whatever else to check to, say, oh, promote this player. Check that they're actually eligible for promotion and promote them.
That might be. Well, currently the scripts. So Simon wrote a lot of the it's already quite automated when a senator or governor gets promoted. But I guess you're talking about mayor or councilor, I guess.
Yeah, like member through mayor.
Yeah, I think someone would have to code up some sort of form or web app to do that, and I don't know if that's something we want to do. It would have that sort of thing would have to hook into the Google Docs and the Minecraft server, so it'd be kind of involved, I would say. And you also have to make sure that web app is secure, so that some guest doesn't come in and decides to promote, I don't know, Warsky to Premier or something, or some member. I don't know. Sorry, Warsky. I was just like looking for a member in the audience, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just choose one.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's probably discussion for later, but I know in the current staff news thing from Revamp I'm doing, I've got a script to just automatically change people's usernames when they get their username changed, that kind of thing. So we could look into doing stuff like that.
Yeah, anything to make it a little bit easier for staff, I'd be up for. It's just someone has to work on it and has to make sure that it's secure and also doesn't screw things up even more than it is.
Again, I'll float it as an idea. Whilst we're here, removing old usernames from the docs. I'm thinking particularly for members who have dead names on the docs.
So for that one, I understand why you wanted that. I would suggest amending that to maybe just taking those usernames and moving it to a private staff doc, because there might be a case where we have to go look back through server logs or look up who that player was for whatever, like some incident or something, or for to check if who, like a good example would be if there's an old town that we don't know the owner of, we would need to know their username, even if it was an old one, right?
Removing old usernames from publicly accessible docs.
Okay. How that would work, I don't know. You'd have to. I guess you have to make a shadow spreadsheet or something, or something like that. Light is asking. Speaking of the band members sheet, would you put all band members in the sheet that isn't here? I know this. So the band members one, it was meant to be at least starting from some point in time, we'd start adding them, because before when the player gets banned, we just delete them off the member list completely, which is kind of problematic because one, if they're indefinitely banned, they could be unbanned, and then we also don't know any information about them. Like sometimes if we forget what their old rank was, so it's we'd have to look up staff news and figure it out from there. Why am I in water? What is this? Okay, anyway.
I was going to say with the Google script thing, it's possible to make the script access other spreadsheets when it's editing a spreadsheet. So we could probably put all the old username aliases in a private document and have the script access that if we wanted to.
Okay. All right. Any other questions about? And staff, feel free if you have any questions about the projects that are being suggested. If you have ideas for other projects, like additional projects, we're also open to considering them here. You can add them to the doc if they seem like things we should pursue. What is Light asking?
Yeah, I think I'm not mainly saying about the problems we have with just deleting data from the spreadsheet on players.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure out how to implement it. Just this doc is mainly, we're not going to go into implementation details so much here. This is just mainly this doc is just mainly to convey this is what we're going to work on for next year or so. Okay.
Not much down in the minutes. We've not had many questions about it.
I'm a little surprised. I was expecting a little bit more questions, especially the CC revamp, but I guess we did have a few of those. So, okay, cool. All right, let's go to move on to 5C. New train carts channel in Discord. The reasons: train carts is hard, and I think it would be help if there was a dedicated channel for people to learn how to use it, especially when it comes to attachments. And someone named MBF could help out with that, especially with I think of spreading that knowledge out so that people can also work on attachments as well would be good. It'd also be a good channel for people to post. And I know I've seen some in media announcements, but this is also a good channel to post, things you've created, any attachments, trains, all that sort of stuff. And then with DNA's ticket plugin coming in, I'd imagine there'll be a lot of coordination that would be needed for that. So people need to learn how to use the plugin. This channel would be a good place to do that as well.
I don't think there's going to be any objections, but
I haven't heard any objections, so it seems
I'm
like
all for it.
Yeah, people are pretty for it. Okay, let's just do it. I'm not seeing any against here, so train carts, I'll just add that right after the meeting, and that's that. And of the last community issue, 5D, this is more of a bureaucrat thing. Like, I know for every GSM, there's always two deadlines: the one that's 2 days before for any topics, and then one that's 1 week before for any conductor apps or mod noms. Personally, I find it a little annoying to deal with both those deadlines, so I'd like to combine them into one. And I've proposed making the new deadline about 6 days before the meeting. The reason is, since the GSMs are always on the second Saturday, I think just doing it on the Sunday at least gives enough time, instead of a week, just give them enough time for people to write topics or submit conductor apps on the weekend before the weekend ends. So I think Sunday would be a good time. Also, I'm usually, I think for the most part at least, I don't know about you, DNA, but for me, Sundays are a little bit more available for me. So I'm actually there when the deadline happens. So
Yeah,
at least,
this change.
yeah, at least at home anyway. So I don't know. Does anyone have any opinions about this, or?
In terms of writing things over weekends, obviously more for more for our members in America, not them for obviously the deadline being the Sunday at 7 p.m. UTC. That's what, midday Sunday. I mean, I guess it is still better than the deadline as it stands.
I was considering maybe 5 days, so it'd be a Monday, but then that would be a Monday, 11 a.m. my time, for example. And sometimes I'm out and about on Monday, so that's maybe not the best, at least for me anyway. So.
I guess the other thing kind of to be considered, if someone creates a proposal that gets kicked to GSM, or it gets kicked to GSM on the Tuesday, whether obviously that's technically past the deadline, but also the proposal itself would have been created maybe Saturday, Sunday.
I think my interpretation of the deadline is that's the cutoff for any topics getting to GSM. Like, are you talking about? You might be confusing if like if a proposal is creating community issues, right?
As in, if a proposal for, I don't know, an IAT that we can't decide on within. Well, then again, we've
Oh, I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
the chances of that becoming the point of, we've decided it's timed out, or it's so controversial that we have to discuss it.
I see your point, AP. Yeah, because basically you're talking about a deferred proposal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fine to if that situation happens. I think we just say it goes right to the next GSM, even if it's after the deadline, because I don't think it's a good idea, especially like for it if there's an IIT or something like that, to wait a whole month. Yeah, I think we can make that a little exception there. Okay, any other things? Okay, I'm going to try to finish the meeting soon here. Yeah, GSM speed round. Okay, so we're going to go with that for 5D. So again, starting from next year, it'll be 6 days before the GSM for both topics of that. 6A, apparently Quebec did send their speech, so they can't speak right today or right now, but I will say it out loud here at the GSM. Again, just to remind people, this is for Firewood City that Quebec Boucheron got at the last GSM. I did get Harbour's speech, he sent that in, but I didn't get Quebec's yet. So here's the speech. First of all, I want to thank everyone that helped me build Firewood City. Without all of you, the city wouldn't be as good and big. Second, big thank you to the staff team who gave me detailed feedbacks and appreciation. And most important, this server and its people made me realize I have a passion for building and for Minecraft. It helped me to orient my life towards something good that I like. Thanks for all the support. In quotations, sorry for my English, Quebec Boucheron.
Nice speech.
Mm-hmm. I'll post that onto the GSM results. I guess this one afterward. Okay, and I mean that's that. There's 6B, but this is just these are all the dates for the next year. I only bring it up in case it conflicts with anything, but I don't think it does. If you just want to look that over on the agenda there.
July 12th. That's is that anniversary again?
One day before anniversary, I think. So pretty close, yeah. I see Nita's poking through the dates there, but yeah, unless there's anything here, I think we're just going to go stick with the second Saturday. I like the second Saturday. Does that work for all the staff here, I guess? I do have to send a roll call because we did have the November GSM where people didn't make it. But are people okay with the second Saturday so far?
Yeah.
At least personally, I have this on the second Saturday, and a thing of watching loads of films with some friends on the third Saturday. So that lines up really well.
That's cool.
I ain't gonna miss the GSM for Hamilton.
Okay, it sounds like second Saturday looks working good for everyone. So yeah, let's just keep on doing it. I don't know why we did the alternate Saturday Sunday thing before. That was kind of stupid, but I don't know.
I think the thinking back then was for staff members who can't make the Saturday on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I was I think at the time I was working in a nightclub, so Saturday nights.
Yeah. But I think some of the people who wanted Sunday their lives have changed or aren't here anymore, so why did I die? So, yeah. Okay, we're going to bring the GSM to a close here. I guess any last Q&A, we'll do the last Q&A here. Any questions, comments? This could be anything. before we bring this GSM to a close. What's the outro music, DNA?
Just like the regular music.
The what regular music?
Like that one.
Who got banned on MP3? What? Are you talking about the Discord waiting sound?
It's just the waiting sound. You can like enable it.
The problem is that only runs when the meeting's not in session. So
You can start it any time.
yes. Okay. Well, whatever. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention. Yeah, we were at AIX during the meeting, so AIX is open. Yay! 5 years in the making, I believe. Jesus. Okay.
Yes. So it's been alright. Like I think most of the team like has gone completely inactive, and other parts of the team joined more recently. And I'm so happy that we have like a functioning product here, and we're still developing. We still have more ideas for expansion in the future. But I'm so happy to be able to share this with all of you. And yeah, enjoy AX. This is like, I don't know, for me it's a highlight of like what I've seen on the server. So thank you all.
And Athena is requesting that GEP, the other big airport that's been being built right now, will be hosted at the January GSM. Any objection to that, guys? I think we can put the spinning wheel for a bit. So, of course, Zuge wouldn't say no objection because you helped build the thing. So.
I smell corruption.
Okay, so yeah, next.
And it smells in GEP.
So yeah, next meeting will be at GEP, and yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think I'm gonna try to close the GSM before the hour is up. Pyroman has a question. What's your question? When will the MRT be sponsored by Taco Bell? That's a silly question. I think we're... Okay, anyway. Yeah, let's just close the meeting. I'm not... Oh, PTLD has an actual question. What's your question? Yeah, try to use the meeting channel, guys. Don't use the main chat.
We're not quite done yet, NSA.
Well, PTLD, ask your question. What's your question?
I'll pull them onto stage.
No, are these silly questions? Are you trying to extend the GSM past an hour? This is silly. PTLD asks, we recently got rid of the media discussion channel. Should we change media announcements just media? What do people think about that?
I'm happy either way. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed either way. Media announcements makes it clear what it's for, but...
I think I like media announcements, but also for the fact that to make it also clear that it's not linked to media in-game. I feel, because the media is, they're both different things. It's actually one of the few channels that's not linked, and we explicitly decided not to link it. Oh, I see PTLD's argument. So because discussion is now part of media announcements, because there are the threads in there, you might as well just call it media now, because it's now just everything about media. I'm not really seeing any like for or against, so maybe... Yeah, it doesn't sound like... Maybe we'll consider later PTLD, but it's not like a big priority right now. Like, if you really want, you can make a community issue if you really want to rename this channel.
Yeah, Yoshi Pie has a question to.
Okay, we're going past an hour again, I guess. Okay, Yoshi, ask your question, please. Oh, and to answer your question, Zooj, no, there's a bunch of airfield and airport topics that are still stuck in community issues. They need more discussion. I would suspect that they would appear at the January GSM or later. Yoshi asks, what do I have in my tacos? Ground beef, lettuce, cheese, tomato. I'm a very vanilla person there. Tuck, I don't play Smash. Okay, this is getting... Okay, I'm gonna turn the meeting off right at noon here, my time. So yeah, get your silly questions in.
Wait, if I turn on the music, can everyone hear that or no?
I don't think we can't hear anything, DNA. Yeah.
Oh no, it's only client side then.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh, I guess it is.
Current state.
Yeah, I've put media announcements to media as AOBs discuss in future.
Oh, there's some groovy music.
Okay, there's so many questions here. Some of them are actually serious. What was Zooj's question? Okay, yeah, 121.4, that you look in beta server, that all the information's there. There's a whole sort of thing. Do I endorse GFP? It's an airport, it's cool. It's cool. I don't know. That's about endorsement you can get. Nintendo Direct, yeah, whatever. Okay. It's just like AIX is cool too. So I don't know how you want to balance that. Okay, it's noon. I'm turning the meeting off. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a safe and happy holidays. And we'll see you at the January GSM next year. So, see
Don't
ya.
blow up any house.
Happy
Bye.
Christmas, Happy New Year. Go home.
Oh, shit.
You're drunk.
True.